up guys? This is Dara Fante, taking Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Math, and welcome to my channel. And for today's video, we are going to discuss about the constant rule, power rule, product rule, quotient rule, and chain rule.
The constant rule. The rule for differentiating constant function is called the constant rule. It states that the derivative of constant function is 0. That is, since a constant function is a horizontal line, the slope or the rate of change of a constant function is 0. Let C be a constant. If f of x is equal to c, then f prime x is equal to 0. For example, find the derivative of g of x equals negative 3. So to solve this problem, the constant rule says the derivative of k is equal to 0, where k is the constant. Now let's do the differentiation process. G of x is equal to negative 3. Negative 3 is a constant. This means that the derivative of negative 3 is equal to 0. This problem is just a one-step application of the rule. Now let's move to power rule.
The power rule tells us how to differentiate expression of the form derivative of x to the power of n
Equals n times x to the power of n minus 1.
The power rule is used to find the slope of polynomial functions and any other functions that contain an exponent with a real number.
An example of a problem by applying the power rule: derivative of quantity negative x to the power of 3 plus 5x squared minus 8x. To solve this problem, the power rule says that the derivative of x to the power of n is equal to n times x to the power of n minus 1. Now let's do the differentiation process.
The derivative of negative x cubed plus 5x squared minus 8x. First, we need to do the basic differentiation rules.
So that would be
Negative 1 derivative of x to the power of 3 plus 5 derivative of x to the power of 2 minus 8 derivative of x. Then, the application of power rule is equal to negative 1 times 3x squared plus 5 times 2x minus 8 times 1x to the power of 0. And the answer will be negative 3x squared plus 10x minus 8. Therefore, the derivative of negative x to the power of 3 plus 5x squared minus 8x is negative 3x squared plus 10x minus 8. The product rule.
the product rules tells us how to differentiate expressions that are the product of two other or basic expressions.
The formula of product rule is derivative of f of x times g of x is equal to derivative of f of x times g of x plus f of x times derivative of g of x. The product rule is used when the derivative of the product of the function is to be taken.
Example problem is, let f of x is equal to sine of x times x to the power of negative 2.
Find f derivative of x. To solve this problem, the product rule says the derivative of f of x times g of x is equal to the derivative of f of x times g of x plus f of x times the derivative of g of x. Now let's find f derivative of x. So the derivative of sine of x times x to the power of negative 2, we will apply the product rule. And that is equal to derivative of sine of x times x to the power of negative 2 plus sine of x times the derivative of x to the power of negative 2. Then we will differentiate the x to the power of negative 2 and sine of x,
which is equal to cosine of x times x to the power of negative 2 plus sine of x times negative 2 times x to the power of negative 3. And the answer would be cosine x over x to the power of 2
minus 2 sine of x over x to the power of 3. Therefore, the f prime x of sine x times x to the power of negative 2 is cosine x over x to the power of 2 minus 2 sine of x over x to the power of 3. Quotient rule.
The quotient rule tells us how to differentiate expressions that are the quotient of two other, more basic expressions.
The formula of quotient rule is derivative of f of x over g of x is equal to the derivative of f of x times g of x minus f of x times the derivative of g of x over g of x to the power of 2. Quotient rule is used when you have one function divided by another function and you're taking the derivative of that. An example of this is, let y is equal to
X squared plus 6x over 10 minus x squared.
and we have to find the dy over dx.
To solve this problem, we will use the quotient rule.
Now let's differentiate. The derivative of x squared plus 6x over 10 minus x squared,
We will apply the quotient rule, and that would be 10 minus x squared times the derivative of x squared plus 6x minus x squared plus 6x times the derivative of 10 minus x squared over 10 minus x squared to the power of 2. Then we will differentiate x squared plus 6x and 10 minus x squared, which is equal to 10 minus x squared times 2x plus 6 minus x squared plus 6x times negative 2x over 10 minus x squared to the power of 2. Then we will expand it. Then it will be equal to 20x plus 60 minus 2x cubed minus 6x squared plus 2x to the power of 3 plus 12x to the power of 2 over 10 minus x squared to the power of 2. Then we will simplify, and the answer would be 6x squared plus 20x plus 60 over 10 minus x squared to the power of 2. Therefore, dy over dx is equal to 6x squared plus 20x plus 60 over 10 minus x squared to the power of 2. The chain rule.
The chain rule is a method for finding the derivative of composite functions
Are functions that are made by combining one or more functions.
Example,
Let g of x is equal to ln of x to the power of 4. Find g prime of x.
the chain rule says that the derivative of v of u of x is equal to the derivative of v of u of x times the derivative of u of x. Now let's find the derivative of v of u of x. V of x is equal to ln of x. This means that the derivative of v of x is equal to 1 over x.
So to find the derivative of v of u of x, that is equal to the derivative of v of x to the power of 4, which is equal to 1 over x to the power of 4. Next step, we will find the derivative of u of x. U of x is equal to x to the power of 4. This means that the derivative of u of x is equal to 4x to the power of 3. Now let's put things together. G of x. is equal to the derivative of ln of x to the power of 4. Let u of x is equal to x to the power of 4, and let v of x is equal to ln of x. And that is equal to the derivative of v of u of x. Then let's apply the chain rule, and that is equal to the derivative of u of x times the derivative of u of x, and that is equal to 1 over x to the power of 4 times 4x to the power of 3. Simplify, we get an answer of 4 over x.
Therefore, the final answer for this problem is 4 over x.
And that's it. Hope you learned something. Thank you for watching.